女士们、先生们，下午好！我代表小景的母亲和我自己，欢迎你们来参加我女儿小景和女婿古航的婚礼庆典。
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Sally's mother and myself, I want to welcome you all to our daughter Sally and Chris, my son-in-law's wedding celebration.
肖景和我谢谢你们来参加我们的婚礼。You'll be pleased to know that I don't intend to translate every sentence into the speech into Chinese. That would, well, my Chinese is nowhere near good enough to do that.
I know that British brides don't usually make speeches, neither do Chinese brides, but I cannot miss this opportunity to say it by myself that thank you all for giving me life in the UK. My parents only met Chris's parents a few days ago. It is hard to imagine how much courage was needed for them to marry their daughter in this way. They're from the most traditional part of China. For most traditional Chinese, you don't look the same is a big deal and should be avoided. So it is harder than you can imagine for my parents to accept that I'm marrying a Westerner and creating a marriage that is different from their friends' children's. Fortunately, my parents like Chris very much, so please allow me to say a few words to my parents. 所以想要帮妈来集体。
新婚归炉，家庭美满 which might just be like a racist collection of words. I'm honestly not sure, but hopefully I said congratulations on your marriage and I wish you a good life as a family.
I declare that I don't.
Of no legal reason.
Of no legal reason.
Why I, Christopher James Chivers.
Why I, Christopher James Chivers.
May not rejoin
I declared I don't.
of no legal reason.
Of no legal reason.
Why I, Xiao Jingchen,
Why I, Xiao Jingchen,
may not be joined in marriage
may not be joining marriage
to Christopher James Chivers.
to Christopher James Chivers.
Your daughter is very special and I promise to make her happy for the rest of our lives together. I realise that your daughter living so far away from home must be very difficult for you, and I want you to know that I will take good care of her.
Chris's ability with comedy that I think set him apart as an English teacher in Guangzhou, because of course that's where you guys met.
In this sprawling metropolis of Guangzhou in southern China, while I was employed as an English teacher, Sally as a journalist. We inhabited the same apartment building and, by happy coincidence, Sally also attended English classes at the school where I was working.
Sally was working and was taking some additional lessons with Chris, and then you took some additional lessons with Chris.
To say she was my student would be a stretch. She attended only 2 of my classes, one of which was a very insightful and well-executed debate class taking an in-depth look at traffic control measures in urban populations. A class she would later describe as very boring.
Chris and I started dating when I was a journalist working for a Chinese newspaper. The boss of my department suspected that my Western boyfriend might be a British spy. Chris was rather fond of this suspicion. He enjoyed being nobody in China, but being thought to be somebody.
And also my employment contract, which I have with me today, stated in clause 7.5.2 that amorous relationships between students and teachers are strictly forbidden. But fortunately, amour is highly subjective and it's not defined elsewhere in the document, so any sort of subsequent external investigation wouldn't have held up to any scrutiny. So that's all fine.
I didn't ask for as much. Maybe I oughta, but I'm staying in touch.
Mary and Clive, you don't know how much my parents were worried about your impression of me before I came to the UK. In their imagination, I look very different from Westerners, and in their words, I'm too small. But you were so kind. You made me feel welcome.
As a single owner.
It is often said that successful relationships should be mutually beneficial, with each party gaining something from the other. Sally has impeccable taste and good judgment in almost every situation, which has conveniently allowed me to outsource a lot of my decision-making to her. She has introduced me to films I would not have dared to approach, books I would not have dared to pick up, and given me a renewed sense of self-confidence. More importantly, her cooking is second to none. In return, I help her by hanging her coat up at home, as she is too small to reach the rail. So it's mutual. Sally is a constant source of entertainment, rather like a PlayStation 3 or a beanbag. She won't let me mention this, but I have fond memories of the time she mistakenly referred to the Mayor of London as John Borison, and to the film where the working class boy aspires to become a ballet dancer as Billy Idiot.
Beyond my wildest dreams, I've been with you.
We all know Chris has, he can be very funny, but not necessarily in a Chinese-friendly manner. He has an abstract sense of humour. He enjoys taking a satirical look at some hard-hitting subjects, shining a light on them and allowing people to find hidden depth in normal aspects of life.
Sally, my beautiful wife, you look wonderful today as you do on every other day, but exceptionally beautiful today. You continue to bring so much positivity into my life. I love you with all my heart, and I look forward to growing old, aging, and developing some sort of terminal. Growing old together, happily.
There's so much to learn from Chris, including how to love and how to be loved. In my hometown, people love deeply, but we never showed it. We hide the happiness, the sweetness, the warmth, and we may just forget about them. Today, in my ceremony, my dad walked me down the aisle. We were arm in arm. I don't know how weird he felt, because kissing and hugging are never part of our culture, and we never walked in such intimacy. Chris let me experience this kind of warmth and sweetness every day.
If everyone would like to raise their glasses to Chris and Sally.
Thank you.